Hello and welcome to Frank's School. My black cat Thor's back, ready to help. Uh, this is I'm going to show how this imaginary movie of mine will end. This is Act 5. Here you go. You go. This is Act 5 and to the end. And in a sense, the climax is over in that the dance occurred. But here's this word, denouement. I don't know how to say. I always pronounce it sort of French, denouement, like that. But anyway, in the structure of a five-act Shakespearean play, for example, oh boy, cat fight. Um, the last act ties up loose ends. It's not quite the same as a climax. So tying up loose ends. Now, and that's what will happen here. But before I go on, backing up a little bit, that idea of a helping hand reaching in from Marion, basically on quite a few occasions throughout the movie. For Batch, I had forgot to mention his helping hand could give Batch some kind of a seasoning, since Batch is a cook and he loves his food, and it could be some very special seasoning. But then, as a joke, Batch is there partly for humor. After one of Batch's unbelievable farts that empties the church or whatever, uh, Marion's helping hand could offer him some pills to deal with his gas or something. I mean, which would probably get, if it were done right, would get a big laugh out of the audience. And Batch's look needs to be consistent. It's sort of telegraphing a punch, looking straight at the camera, uh, either before or after one of his farts. Anyway, that actually is important. Now, to tie up loose ends, maybe Batch could get some brand new piglets, new little piglets, which would make his joy complete. Carrie, I've decided she might be better named Anna. But remember, this is a wordless movie. You would have no idea of the names, the viewer would have no idea of the names of any of these characters. But in my mind, in the credits anyway, Anna would be a better name, I think. Her partner from Tomach could arrive. Now remember, Anna is a lesbian. She was living with a woman. Now why she left, that a lot of previous stories don't really have to be told, but she could arrive. That's would be nice. Not necessary. Bryn and Marion. It opened with Marion, and then Bryn was coming up the mountainside. They would leave. They would. You would see film of them leaving, and with goats. Maybe not as many goats. Come on, cat. Um, Not as many goats, not to give the idea that some goats stay behind. You really may hear a tremendous cat fight here in a minute. Uh, they would be leaving with some goats, giving a suggestion maybe that they've done their job, now they'll go on to something else, or going back to Dutch Corner, or where they're from, which is here. But and this would be an echo. That's a literary device, an echo, filmed in a similar way as much as possible to the way the movie opened. But, oh wait, and before I go on with my but, Renaissance Man comes to mind because at the end of that movie, Renaissance Man, the movie makers very clearly pulled out all the stops to make a powerful effect, satisfying effect on the viewers, especially with music. And each of the characters basically does a curtain call as they march by, and the American flag waves, and they just kind of pull out all the stops. Artistically done. And I have suggested that throughout this movie, you wouldn't want to be too artistic in the making of the movie, not heavy-handed. Not heavy-handed with otherwise it could end up drawing too much attention to itself as an effort to make it artistic. So I would hold that back until now. Until now. In a way, this would be a little bit like boxing, where, as I recall, sometimes you could just do nothing with the one hand for a while until your opponent sort of forgets it's there, and then use it. Uh, there's probably a name for such a thing, but now I would want to pull out all the stops. It could be actually devastating to the audience. Marion's eyes. There would be Marion as they're leaving. He would turn, And once again, the camera would have to be about the same. It would go into his face. And once again, he's looking down the side of the mountain, just like he did at the beginning when Bryn was coming up. But this time, what he sees is a woman with an older woman in her company and 2 children. Their heads are covered. Their heads are covered. They look ragged. They look tired. They're far from having the beauty of Bryn as she walked up. These are worn and tired, but bravely coming. What they are is refugees. They're refugees. And the timbre in the music, their theme there would be the same as Festus's theme, but it would be, the timbre would be a woman's voice humming, not words, humming or, yeah, humming I guess you'd have to say, or singing la 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 or something. I don't know, a woman's voice. And I think of Eva Lint as the most beautiful woman's voice I think I ever heard. If in this imaginary ideal movie, it would be her voice, even though she's a soprano. And it's possible that an alto voice might be better in this case, but in any case, there would be Festus's theme. And if there were any musical theme to come out of the movie that would then, what do you say, go viral? In other words, become worldwide popular, it would be this theme. Wordless. You don't need words. Well, Festus's joy at seeing them. This is his family. This is his wife, his mother-in-law probably, his 2 children. He had thought they were dead. Festus, in fact, has been wearing black the whole time. Not, I suggested a muscle shirt and all that, but he's been wearing black. And his joy, he would run. Remember, he's crippled, and he could even run as if he weren't crippled. Now, I mean, this would have to be so carefully done. Run to meet these people who he thought were dead. He had given up. Now we find out why he is so angry, why he has been so bitter and sad. The burden he's carrying, he believed that he had lost his family, but there they are. And he would howl with joy or cry. He would cry, is what he would do. This buff, strong man would be just overwhelmed. And although it's a wordless movie, that doesn't mean human voices couldn't be used. I can't imagine that if this were well done, that the audience wouldn't be extremely moved. I think of Twelfth Night at the end of that, where there's a reunion of twins that she thought he was dead. Much Ado About Nothing, Shakespeare has used this often, where somebody comes back where they thought that they were gone. And in the midst of all this drama, how do you resolve it now? Well, I would go back to Batch. A possibility, because what do you do with an audience when they're devastated like this? Well, Batch could give his look, but I think instead of farting, he would just wink. That would probably be a better thing to do. And then directly go back to the dance, and now the credits would run. And the dance, the music of the dance at the end of Act 4, the music of the dance would be supplied, but all the woofers, the whole cast, everybody that made it possible could be dancing on the Socalcos, and the credits then run. Well, I'm going to have a little bit more to say about this movie, not very much, but as far as the movie itself is concerned, there you have it. Bye for now.